Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you are keeping yourself safe because of the business environment is not getting better, or rather the environment is not getting better. So please be safe. So my name is Dr. John Heng. I'm the assistant head of school for the School of Postgraduate Studies from PSB Academy. Thank you so much. If you're calling in or dialing in, I really appreciate it. So my topic will be what is leadership? A manager's guide for an organizational success. So for the introduction, Alexandre the Great served as the king of Barcelona from 336 to 323 BC, and during his time of leadership, he united Greece, established the Corinthian leagues, and then conquered Persia. And I love these statements indicated as such. He said, I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep. I am afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion. So what he's trying to imply is that good leadership can win the war. Good leadership can provide clear directions. Good leaderships can provide vision and mission of how to achieve the vision. And that is what good leadership is all about. As sometimes we joke about it, a blind leading a blind, right? And you're not going to go anywhere. So for leaders, is someone who can influence others and who has a managerial authority. So the word is influence. And the latest research, we can talk about transformational leadership, we can talk about transactional leadership. Whatever the different types of leadership, the critical word here is influence. How we can get somebody to do certain things, sometimes with just words, or sometimes with just actions. And for leadership, is defined as a process of leading a group and influencing that group to achieve its goal. So as you can see, we have different types of leadership. Look at President Donald Trump. Look at our Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong. What they are trying to do, particularly at this point of time. And even President Xi Jinping from China. All of them have different leadership styles. I'm not going to say that I prefer our Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. Definitely, I would love to say that because I'm a Singaporean. But comparatively, if you look at President Donald Trump, President Xi Jinping, and the way they are managing their citizens or its country is very different. So, the traits theory of leadership implies, look at the picture there, and this is my favorite show, it's Caesar, the Planet of the Apes. He was trained or was guided by humans, right? Because of certain exposure to certain medicine, Caesar became very smart. And through the relationship with humans, he developed a very good leadership style. And the trait theories, in terms of we human now, I'm not going to talk about Caesar too much. Let us come back to the human aspect of it. We talk about the trait theories of leadership. What traits do leaders have? Now, I'm not going to challenge any theories, but I'm just going to bring you through. First, leaders should have drive. Look at Caesar. Look at Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, right? Look at President Donald Trump. They definitely have the drive, okay? The drive, right, to move, the drive to achieve, and the drive to share. Next, the desire to lead, okay? As you know, the word desire means built inside. Honesty and integrity, and this is what leadership is all about. Should have honesty and integrity. And you, from the historical exposure about leadership, some leadership within 10 years, they are brought down by the citizens. Self-confidence, intelligence, job-relevant knowledge, extroversion, right? That means you're more on the extrovert, so to speak, and your proneness to guilt. Now, tell me in the world which president doesn't have defects? So, proneness to guilt, right? If a humans, and I always say this to many people, humans are never perfect. That's the reason why whatever we created, it cannot be perfect. And even for our presidents, they are not perfect. And one good part about our presidents, our prime ministers, and all our ministers are that if they are wrong, they will apologize. If you look at the history on some leaderships, they deny. They always say that I'm the best. If you go against them, then logically they'll just remove you. So, we're just going to go through a little bit on the modern views of leadership and the issues facing today's leaders. Today's environment, leading effectively in today's environment involves several important leadership issues, such as first, empowering employees. Second, cross-cultural leaderships. And lastly, which personally speaking, which is the most important part, is the emotional intelligence. Now let us look at employee empowerment. Managers are increasingly leading by not leading. And I love this. And some of you might be wondering, how can you lead without leading? And good leaders will definitely want to empower their employees. Now, the word empower means that to give decision making to that workers or to the employees. And it doesn't mean that empowerment means giving the decisions and anything wrong, the workers should be responsible. Yes, in a sense, but the leader should be overall still responsible. Empowerment doesn't mean that I just wash my hand, let that person or the employee do whatever he or she is supposed to be doing, and then anything happens, just terminate the employees. No. So empowerment is decision-making, discretion to that workers. Organizations want to successfully compete in the dynamic global economy. Employees have to be able to make decisions and implement changes quickly. As you and me are aware, time is always a big issue. Everything urgent, urgent, urgent. And can you imagine, if you don't empower the employees to decide certain things, a customer feedback to that employee, and the employee got a feedback to another level of reporting officer, and then by the time it reaches the CEO or the top level leadership, and then somebody, when they decide, it will be too late. Another reason is organization downsizing have left many managers with larger spans of control, and these managers have had the empower to their people to cope with the increased work demands. And as you know and I know, we can't manage everything solely by ourselves. We need to empower. Second point, national culture. If you look at US, the Western culture, our Asia culture, we are all very, very different. So for a good leaders, the individual, for example, if he or she comes from Western culture, he or she cannot just focus and enforce their national culture from the West, right? They have to have mixed culture management, right? Because as you know, culture sometimes has very negative impact on an organization. For example, right, in the West, in our Asia culture, when we see somebody, a friend, who had not met for like a while, you don't hug each other, okay? And sometimes the way we use our hand to shake, right, handshake, we also have different implications. So for good leaders, they also need to understand the national culture of that respective nationalities or that country that business has located itself there. As I mentioned earlier, this is another important aspect of good leadership, emotional intelligence. Okay? We have, other than the single factors, they are the best predictor who will emerge as the leaders, given the emotional intelligence. And the possession of 5 components of emotional intelligence are, first, self-awareness, self-management, self-motivation. Empathy means always looking from the other side, and social skills. This will allow an individual to become a star performer. And nowadays, we don't talk about other things except that this EI, the emotional intelligence. Okay? And as you know, if you look at some of the leaders, they are so good in terms of the soft skill, negotiation, socialization, and how to communicate. And they always have this empathy, looking from the other side. Most research concludes that emotional intelligence is an essential element in the leadership effectiveness, and it could be added to the list of traits associated with leaderships. And seriously, after this discussion, just take a look. Go to YouTube or go Google whatever that you have easy access to for updated information. Look at the leadership. Or look at some of the researchers. They emphasize a lot about this word called emotional intelligence. And I would like to discuss this researcher or this very smart researcher called John C. Maxwell. He has been studying leadership for more than 20 years or 25 years. And accidentally, one of my friends told me about this person. And then I went to, as usual, in order to gain more information, knowledge, I went to YouTube it and I went to Google it. And I was so impressed by what he's saying. He indicated the 5 levels of leadership. Position, it says here the rights. Permission, relationships. Production, the results. People, reproductions. And the highest level, the best out of the 5 stages, is personhood. They call it respect. And if you look at the details, it makes a lot of sense. For the position, he gave John C. Maxwell indicated as the level of rights. People follow you because they have to, because of their position, right? General manager of the company, your reporting officer. You have the positional leadership, you are the boss. They don't have any choice. They have to follow whether they want your leadership or not. Next level, which is permission. the level of relationships. People follow because they want to follow you. They believe in you. They trust you. They don't have to, but they want to follow you. And this is really, really nice. Okay? And the word indicated there, they don't have to, but they want to follow you. That is called permission. Production, the level of results. People follow you because of what you have done for an organization, the accomplishment, your sacrifices, right? And your giving first rather than taking. And people will look at you very, very differently. Level 4, people development, the level of reproduction. People follow because of what you have done for them, what it is in for them. As you know, I always praying very hard that our reporting officer will be promoted to a higher level, and should I have a chance, I would love to apply for that position. Okay? And this is what we call people development. And we need to develop people, right? The subordinates that report to you, the people under you that reports to you as a reporting officer, we need to develop them, because when you get promoted, somebody else need to do that part of your work. Lastly, personhood, the level of respect. People follow you because of who you are and what you represent, your values. Okay? And if you look at these 5 different stages, then we come back to the same questions. Is leader nurture or is leadership natural? So I'm going to leave this to you. For my part, I still believe that we need somebody to lead us. And the other portion is, if you have too many leaders, no followers, you are in trouble. If you have too many followers just depending on you as a leader, I guarantee you this, you will also be in trouble. So that's the reason why, coming back to the contemporary issues about empowerment, your emotional intelligence, how, together with others, you can grow the company. Growing company means that you can bring the company forward into the future. Not 1 step forward and 3 steps backward. That is not leadership. So I'm going to stop for a while, just in case you have questions, and I will try to give you the answers. In response to your question, what really makes a good leader? And people chose not to listen. In the first place, if people don't want to listen, that means there's something missing in your leadership approach. It's the same like at home, right? If you're a father or a mother, if you give instruction, you look at your child, he or she will follow you, because you give very clear instruction, and you have this sense of being the parenthood. And with the emotional intelligence, you try to understand your child. And at times, you need to make your peers understand, at the end of the day, what is the main purpose of you doing certain things. I don't think a good leader will try to disrupt the organization or not bring the organization towards the next level. Second question, what will be the level of EQ, right, emotional quotient? Okay, knowledge is good. You have a lot of knowledge, means that you are able to relate particularly that concept or in that situation. But if you only understand how to approach and solve that problems, but if you don't have the EI, the emotional intelligence, to get people to help you, which means that at the end of the day, you'll be doing by yourself. And remember, a person cannot do everything by yourself. He or she needs help. And we as employees Similarly, we have to understand that leaders are not there to make it more difficult for us. They are there to help us. So as a whole, the company will be brought to the next level. So in relation to your level of EQ, the important part is that you have good EQ, but definitely you have to be supplemented by your EI, your emotional intelligence. So, thank you so much, everyone. There are a lot of things that we can learn, and I hope and I pray that in future you could become a leader. And then you can tell me what I have discussed with you today, does it make sense? Environment could change. Environment could become more dynamic, but humans' relations, humans' leadership is difficult to change. Our Master of Business Administration or MSc, the Master of Science, okay, please check with us. And actually, I'm the program director for these both, MBA and MSc. And I hope to see you soon. And all the best. And please be safe. Listen just for 1 month. And then we can go wild after that. Thank you so much. And take care.